We have told our government officials that you will drive a D8 cat over my dead body, and I mean it.
What I see happening out there today just enrages me at times. I just can't believe that people will allow our government to do what they're doing to our public lands, our forests, our national parks.
For the natural gas we need, we must lay more pipelines, at least 38,000 miles more main distribution pipelines over the course of the next 20 years.
Our country was built on democracy, or supposed to be. We're the voice of the people. That's what happened. Well, in this oil and gas industry, it's not a democracy, it's a dictatorship.
My people came here in the 1880s and homesteaded, and there have been 5 generations of Blancets lived here in San Juan County.
I was one of the lucky ones. I was able to find a lifestyle that I think I love almost as much as Lynn does. We're ranchers. Ranchers have dealt with droughts and floods and noxious weeds and bad years and good years. We understand that there's going to be some impact to what we're doing. But you can't manage a resource with multi-million-dollar companies that are running over the top of you.
I couldn't run them up there because of the contamination and all the problems that existed.
I think one of the hardest decisions that my husband ever made was the fact that we can no longer ranch here. It's gone. Our ranch is gone.
I will hate to believe that oil and gas run me out of this county, but basically that's going to be the bottom line when I leave this place.
The Rockies are being asked to meet the nation's gas appetite. The Rockies are being asked to be the cavalry that rides to the rescue of a failed energy policy. That and a very complacent administration is the reason we're seeing this leasing of all public lands and a lot of, quote, multiple purpose lands, multiple use lands, Bureau of Land Management lands, and Forest Service lands just being given over to the oil and gas industry. One of my great concerns is nothing seems to be off limits to these guys. In this administration, they can lease anything. The natural gas industry's leased 30 million acres of the Rocky Mountain West. That's the equivalent of 15 Yellowstones.
14 now 15 last call. 14 now 15. Sold for $14. Buyer number 350. Table number 18. Parcel number 481. Price is $14.
We've seen 100,000 natural gas wells drilled in the Rockies since 1980, and we'll probably see another 100,000 drilled in the next 15 years. So this has been a land rush, one of the great land rushes in American history.
This gas play is totally different in that it takes up most of the state. Instead of a few square miles, we're talking thousands of square miles. And that's what people don't realize, because it's never happened before.
I've been deeply saddened by the changes that I have seen in the management of public lands. What we have seen is a shift in philosophy, and that is the belief that public opinion really isn't that important. When the Bush administration came into power, they said, we are very much in favor of local control, and we really want the public to speak. Well, that mantra lasted just as long as it took for them to realize that the public was speaking very loudly.
My name is Sloan Shoemaker.
My name is Ken Newbecker.
My name is Anna Treble.
My name is Ed Forn.
Jack Hatfield.
What part of no doesn't this current administration understand?
on the Rhone when the leaves are turning. On a nice day, when the leaves are backlit with the sun and they're shining, it gives you a real feeling, I guess, of God's accomplishments.
The area that's become known as the top of the Rhone Plateau is about 35,000 acres, and it's predicted to contain approximately 9 trillion cubic feet of natural gas.
The Bush administration put it on what they called their fast track list, and they had about a dozen areas in the country that they wanted to see drilled for oil and gas now. And they got 75,000 comments. Over 99% of those comments saying, we want balance on the Rhone Plateau and we want to see it protected.
These are some of our best places. The Rhone Plateau, Terra Mesa, Valle Vidal, and many places in between. Why are we going there first? Well, I'll tell you why we're going there first. We're going there first because industry believes that in the current permissive attitude of this administration, they can get in anywhere. And if they can get into our best and most pristine landscapes, they've raised the bar to the point where we can't keep them out of any of our landscapes.
I really get pissed off about it because the taxpayers own this property. The people all over the United States own this. And I realize that we need the resource, but we don't have to destroy all the other resources in order to get the one.
We're being given a false choice by this administration. We don't have to choose between our best wild lands and the little bit of gas that lies under those wild lands. We're flying over my beloved Jack Morrow Hills. And how much gas would you think a special place like this is worth? It's less than 6 days of what we use in our country. 6 days. For 6 days worth of gas, is it worth destroying one of the West's last wild places?
So we're at a fork in the road here. We're at a trail junction. And we can either continue the failed policies of the past, or we can go off on the new trail. And the new trail is efficiency and renewables, supplemented by fossil fuels. We have one of the world's great wind resources here in the Rocky Mountain West and the Great Plains. We have the world's best solar resource in the desert Southwest and the Four Corners region. It's just waiting there. These are gifts from God. If we go off in the bleak world, it's a world where we just continue to devour the West.
Five, 10 years ago, you couldn't have got me into a room full of environmentalists. Sooner or later, we've all got to band together to protect what we've got and to keep doing what we enjoy doing.
What I think you're seeing throughout the West is people like looking, is that the last buffalo? They're looking at their landscape and saying, is this the last wild place?
And if you believe that the oil and gas drilling is too detrimental for the landscape or the wildlife or something, then fight for it. Stand up and fight for it.
Sportsmen, hunters, fishermen, all outdoor activity people, whether you're a mountain biker, whatever you are, you better wake up because your time's growing short. And if you sit back and just let it go, it's going to be too late and it's happening fast.
One of the great questions is who's going to put a bridle on the dragon? The gas industry is so rich now, so wealthy, and so politically powerful. It's just so much bigger than any other entity in the state. And the question is, who's going to tame this? Who's going to tell it no?